Welcome back to Mama's Garage. I'm sitting here with a very special guest. Hank, would you like to introduce yourself to the listeners?
Yeah, my name's Hank. I just graduated. I'd known Luke from a film class.
That's right.
It was kind of a one-off thing, and
I
think it was my sophomore year.
Because it was my senior year. It was very fun.
I was the young one.
Yes, you were.
I was with a bunch of juniors and seniors, and I was like 15. So it was a little weird being with a bunch of kids older than me, and I was definitely very immature.
Well, I'm glad you know that now because it was a lot of fun though, and you brought a lot of thrills to the class. But do you remember the first day in there? Because I remember the first. Was that or the second day? Because there's a picture of us. I'll probably put on Instagram when I post the episode. It's where I had that lamp I got from Mr. Hiles. I use that lamp every day.
I remember that. Yeah. It was so weird just because high school I knew I was going to have a class with people that were older than me, but that was the first proper class that really showed, okay, there's going to be people older than me in this class.
And you got to
and I'm going to have to put up with it.
Right. Well, I always craved that because I was in drumline early and stuff, and I was like try to fit in with the older crowd. But you had no problem just being Hank in there.
Oh yeah, I mean I'm very social, and that was actually kind of a thing when I was young and diagnosed with autism. The doctor was like, "This kid's not going to be social."
Couldn't be further from the truth.
Yeah, and I'm completely the opposite.
That's right.
So,
yeah. Totally. Very outgoing.
Yeah, I love being outgoing and social and
shit. It's my own equipment. God damn it.
And loud. That's just who I've always been. I've never been quiet.
Yeah, not at all. And it's you always you always bring energy in a room, and I've always admired that. But did you ever feel bad about pissing Mr. Smith off? Because it was very rare you ever actually get like pissed. But you like to press buttons a little bit, and I found that very entertaining. But did you do that everywhere?
I feel like it was a lot easier to press Mr. Smith's buttons than any other teacher. Like I had an English teacher. I had Miss Littell for my senior year. Juniors, she's an awesome teacher.
Big time, yes.
Junior and senior year. Junior year I was loud, but senior year I really started pressing her buttons, and there were times where I actually like made her upset. Yeah. Because I got on rants and I started telling like people rile me up, and I started saying some really crazy jokes,
and like being like a member of that class, because I had her the first year she was actually a teacher because she was a sub or like the aide for a while. I know you can get away with a few things in there, and that's no discredit to her at all. She just was very fun. You just be yourself in there. But there was a few times where some shit happened where I was like, oh, this is getting out of hand, dude.
Yeah, and I think honestly it was just because there were other kids in that class.
Right.
Like, I had a good friend in that class. If it was just me in that class, I probably would have been pretty quiet. And there were times in that class where I was pretty quiet.
And did you have it set up where it's like, typically in classrooms, it's like, there's rows and columns. But when I was in there, it was like basically you could see the other half of the class the whole time. Is that how it still was? Where it's like just kind of down the middle where she could pivot to both sides of the room?
Yeah, so if you come in, there's like rows of desks on the right, rows of desks on the left.
Yeah.
So, So you could see what she was doing at all times.
That's right. Yeah, there's a fun little story. I don't think I've told on the podcast yet. This was, Eli Shoemaker. Yeah. All right. He had a lot of creative freedom in one of these projects we did once, and he found this camcorder, like up at his attic, and we did a project over like the word transcendentalism. Did you ever do that? I forget what that word even means, but
it sounds familiar. Yeah. We did projects over something crazy like that.
Well, we could pick whatever we wanted. You can basically find whatever the criteria was through anything we had. And so I picked like a movie I'd come out that year. I talked about that, but Eli just showed everyone how to make popcorn. And he filmed it on a camcorder, and like he had like way too much butter, but then he edited it. And at the very end, there was it was this black screen, and anytime he'd eat the popcorn, he'd like show it. It would be like a pop and asterisk on the screen. It would pop up for a split second, and it would go away. And then at the very end of the presentation, it went black, and then as loud as possible, it was an animated ring of monkeys going around in a circle, and it was Daft Punk blaring, and then it was so loud it made the covers of the speakers fall off.
Oh my god!
Oh my god! It was the funniest thing that ever happened in school ever. I need to get Miss Littell on the on the podcast.
Yeah, Miss
there's
Littell
a bunch
would
of
be an
teachers.
awesome
There's a bunch of teachers I want to interview.
I'm trying to think of another teacher that'd be awesome.
Mm-hmm. Well, Mr. Smith might be doing it next week.
Really?
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. Mm-hmm. Miss Littell was probably my favorite. Yeah, I have so many fun teachers, but Miss Littell was honestly probably my favorite.
And I had her like when she was like the closest to us in age, like probably like 7 or 8 years in difference is all it was, right? And that's hard it's hard to command the room. That's probably something I'd ask her about, where it's like you obviously have a lot of fun in there, right? But like it's hard to command the room, but for respect, while also threading the needle of like being fun and everything. But she did a great job. I've had a lot of teachers like that. Did you ever have Mr. Trump in middle school?
No, but I had. I think my brother had him for weights. My brother's gonna be a freshman this year. He had him for weights since like 7th grade. But
yeah, did they even have with the weight rooms like in the gymnasium now? I think yeah.
But I know some people who have Mr. Trump and they loved him. I've seen highlights of him of just being in middle school.
Oh yeah.
And him saying, "Someone said the F word."
Yeah. Just he says that's big. He was like one of my like comedy inspirations. I was like, oh, you can have fun while being professional too, because like I respect the hell out of him, but also I laughed so much in that class. God. You know, he's so damn good.
I had Mr. Schoolcraft.
Okay, Jesse.
My brother had him too, and my brother hated him, and I kind of hated him too, but. There was one time where he kept telling this girl to put down her blanket, and she was like,
"Oh, the blanket problem."
Yeah, I identify as this, like,
right.
Mm-hmm. And he was like, "Can you?" And it was like a pride blanket or something stupid, and he was like, "Put the blanket away." It's like, no, no. He's like, "Put the damn blanket away." In eighth grade, I was still very immature at the time.
Right.
Obviously, all of us were laughing.
Part of the course, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're at the time you're 13, 14 years old. Like, come on, get real.
Yeah.
But 8th grade was my weird year. That was the COVID year, so that's when we were all sitting in the classrooms, and the teachers would come to us.
God, I can't imagine doing that in middle school. It happened my sophomore year, which is kind of the best year to have it, because I had like the first year of high school pretty much untouched, and like that second year in high school, you're just landlocked, waiting for it to be an older kid, and then the years after it was fine.
Yeah.
But 8th grade sounds like a tough, because you do a lot of developmental stuff in 8th grade.
Yeah, so like I took algebra 1 in 8th grade because I was advanced.
Yeah.
And I remember I always found math really easy. Like in like elementary school, I didn't even have to try.
Yeah, I find it fun too. I just feel like
puzzles. But algebra 1, when you're making that format, like I did pretty good in pre-algebra, but algebra 1, when you're making that formation to go into high school math, so like you're learning about quadratics or substitution, elimination, and all that crap.
Oh, yeah, dude. Where there's two variables you have to figure out. Yeah, X and Y. It's been a while, but yeah.
So whenever I got into freshman year, I did geometry. I had Miss Marion, and she was one of my favorite teachers too. She was awesome.
Miss Marion's great.
And I did good in geometry. I'm pretty good at shapes. But when Algebra 2 hit, I had Advanced Algebra 2 with Mr. Craigie.
Oh yeah, and always wear the Hawaiian shirts on the corner.
And that's where things went down.
Yeah, I'm at the same art, because when I was like in 3rd grade, they would call me like human calculator, because I just would just do numbers in my head.
Yeah, that's how it was with me.
Yeah, and then by the time I got to Algebra 2, which I didn't do Algebra 1 till my freshman year. I thought I was good at math, but they were like, just keep you up in pre, which actually had me be with Mr. Trump. But I was like, fine, whatever. And then I didn't have to do stats or pre-cal at all as a senior, so I just got all my math stuff done. But yeah, Algebra 2, I was like, this is getting wonky. This is becoming kind of like literature. And I'm not big on that. Usually it comes easy, because it feels like you're being defeated. You know what I mean?
But Algebra 2, I struggled to pass that class, and I was going through big mental issues. My mental health was like at an all-time low. I remember
this was freshman year or sophomore year?
Sophomore year.
Okay, yeah.
I remember I'd ask every day. I wouldn't do my homework, and every day I'd ask. I don't know if you remember him, Adrian Yates. You remember him?
I don't think so.
Shorter kid. He was a little. I don't know if he was a little odd.
I'm sure if I saw him,
he'd always sell
He'd
sell sodas to people.
Oh my god!
You remember him?
Hold on. I think. Yes, I remember him.
He'd sell sodas and candy to people.
I did not. I totally forgot about him, dude. Yeah.
Yeah. So
he was so nice. He was talk to anybody.
Oh, he was awesome.
He sold like DS, something. It wasn't just sodas.
Yeah, and Mr. Craigie
forgot about
he
that.
would count just. He would count just completion in that class.
Yeah.
So I just asked Adrian Yates every time I got to class, can I see your homework? And I just copy down his homework and get completion points for it.
I never knew about the completion thing, but
But I will say one of probably my favorite math teacher was Mr. Urban.
Yeah, well, I never had Urban, but I know Urban pretty well.
Oh my God, dude! Yeah, Mr. Urban was the best math teacher.
Was that for pre-cal?
Pre-cal.
Yeah.
I did
senior year then.
I did it junior year.
Okay.
So then I missed out on all the math classes my senior year. So I just had a pretty fun senior year.
Yeah, dude. Oh, I had such a ridiculously stupidly fun senior year.
I had my first 3 periods in senior year were rewind.
Oh, really?
And Mr. Meyer retired.
Yeah, I heard about that.
And we had a new teacher, and she literally did not care what we did in there if we had our work done, we could literally sit there and watch movies the whole time. So I remember I watched
3 periods. You can watch like the 3-hour-long movie.
Oh yeah, I watched The Green Mile.
That's a sad movie, dude.
It's a great movie though.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
I haven't
seen it in a while.
I watched Shawshank Redemption.
Another great, yeah.
Yeah, I've watched so many good movies. I couldn't watch the Batman versus Superman because that's like 4 hours long.
Yeah, well, because DC has like a lot of long ass movies. I remember seeing that in theaters.
I watched the Human Centipede. That is a weird movie.
Well, to watch it at school, yeah.
That is a weird movie.
Damn, dude. Well, what was the kind of work you guys had to do? Because you do like student news, and then of course there was always like the side projects that people would show off, and I would always enjoyed watching those.
Right. So we'd always do announcements daily, and that would just be a 3rd period thing, and it doesn't take us very long. So we'd always be a day ahead of announcements, and then we do projects of like short films and stuff. And then she set like a really far due date, so then I just worry about it when it got like 2 days away from the due date. I'm like, oh crap, I have to edit this, and I edit it, and like I was really fast at editing.
What do you guys use like what Final Cut Pro or like what's the
Adobe Premiere and After Effects and all that.
Gotcha. Because I only ever use CapCut for stuff, but I know editing's that's a pretty essential skill to have these days.
Yeah. So I think my favorite project was. It got showed off at there was a thing for all like the rewind classes at like Butler that we all met up down at Butler.
Yeah.
And it was a sound design project.
Okay,
and
that's fun.
It was I'll have to show you it after.
Please.
And it was a Toy Story 3, and it was like a scene of Toy Story or something, and we had to put our own sound over it.
That's really fun.
So
dude.
Like the voice lines, we'd have to make our own voice lines.
Wait, what scene was it though?
It was glad I could catch the train. And then it had all the aliens riding in the car.
Yeah.
And I remember I put this video of as the sound of the aliens laughing. It was a video of a Korean guy laughing at his food. Have you seen that video?
No.
It was. I found it when I was like 11, and it's just this Korean guy, and he's just. And he has this.
And so you snuck it in as like a little passion project thing. That's really funny.
And then Woody would go up that they were finding. Who was it? The Slinky dog coming down the mountain, and
it's been a while since I've seen the 3rd one, but that's the one I've seen the most. It was always on Disney Channel.
And it was and Buzz. You can't catch me, Sheriff.
Was there? Oh, you should have done Buzz looking alien and then snuck that video in there.
Dude, I had some funny audios.
Would have been very awful.
And then at the end, where the Mr. Porkchop, he dropped like the bomb of monkeys.
Yeah.
So basically, if you look at a timeline, you have the video, you have like the video bar, and then the audio bars. So I had like 100 bars of just straight monkeys of just straight monkey
like
sounds
stacked on top of each other.
Yeah, so it was just super loud of just of monkey noises, and that was my favorite project. I think
that sounds very fun.
It was a very fun project.
Yeah, no kidding. That's gotta be a thick line to scroll through too.
Because Mr. Meyer, he was like he was big on perfection.
Right.
Like, oh, this has to be this good.
Mm-hmm. Because I know they won a lot of awards. Like we were a pretty prestigious Rewind group. For
yeah, we didn't get many this year, but I had a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. Because she was pretty lenient on what you could put. I think another thing I really liked was the music video we made.
Oh,
for Rewind. It was from Sultans of Swing.
Oh, I love
Dire
that song
Straits.
today. I love that song.
I'll show you that one after too.
Please, I can put the links in the description.
Yeah,
too.
Great. I acted in a lot of the Rewind films.
That's fun. I really would. If I could redo high school, I would love to have been
Rewind's a great class.
It sounds so damn fun. But always conflicted with jazz band and stuff.
Right.
So
yeah,
couldn't do that.
But I was always good at acting because I was loud and I wasn't scared to be in front of a camera.
Yeah, at all. Yeah.
A lot of people are scared to be in front of a camera.
Right, and they kind of shut down and everything.
Yeah, I don't.
No, yeah, you probably saw it. Fucking like the Will Ferrell of Rewind.
Oh yeah, I love Rewind. It was so
awesome.
fun. Like announcements, I was always loud.
I remember I sat at the Rewind table once. It was like after a football game or something like that, and I had never been back there, but I had like Austin Bray, Ben Selch, all those guys. Yeah, there was the grade below me, so they were all up in it and stuff. I really like the production side of things, and so I would have loved to have done that. Actually, the first podcast I ever did was with Serenity Fry, and we did that in like one of the, I guess where you guys do overdub, because there's like the acoustic foam on the walls. Yeah. Yeah, that's when I was like, oh, I think I like podcasts a lot.
Yeah, it was
very cool.
But we had like 4 or 5 podcast setups now. Mm-hmm. But I think another fun part of Rewind was we had mandatory recordings. Mm-hmm. So I'd volunteer to do a lot of football games. Oh. And this recent season, of course, with Martinsville having that monster season.
I was even watching it because I'm a band kid. And we would have it. I was still working at Greeks at the time, and we had all the games going because Greeks bought like marketing and like the
first and third quarter. I remember we recorded an ad or something for it. But
it was crazy, dude.
I specifically remember I was recording the Decatur game. Mm-hmm. And when we were like really far down at the first half and we come back and won, I remember when we scored that final touchdown, I went absolutely ballistic.
Yeah, and I bet that's so fun.
Mr. Meyer was so the new Rewind teacher, she was also an assistant cheer coach. Mm-hmm. So when we went to football games, she was helping out with the cheer team. So Mr. Meyer would come back.
Oh, really?
For like one-off occasions for like football games.
That's got to be so fun though, being up in the box.
Oh, well, I wasn't in the box. I was down. I was up in the box the first half, but the second half I was down with a handheld big freaking 4K handheld camera. Dude. I was holding a big freaking camera.
But did you have like a mic on as well? Like just are you?
I have a headset on to communicate up to the rest of the guys.
Dude, but that's you're closer to the action though. That's gonna be way more fun.
I mean, it was great. My shoulder hurt, but it was fun. Mm-hmm. And I remember I just started jumping up and down and yelling at Mr. Meyer was like, "Stop shaking the damn camera!" It was jumping up.
Because you're like live streaming, aren't you?
Yeah, we're live streaming.
Yeah, and, that's so funny.
But I think you might be able to see me go crazy. I don't know. I haven't watched. I haven't rewatched that.
Yeah, but there's so much footage though.
Oh yeah, but
that's really fun.
Rewind is an amazing class. Mm-hmm. I recommend to all the listeners younger. I mean,
because out of the 16 people who probably listen to this, I bet a small portion of them are still in high school, and they probably have the command to change their schedule like that. But yeah, it never looked like maybe like just the amount of extra time you had to put into it to like find times to record and like choreograph everybody and like have time slots and calendars and stuff, because a lot of the short films were like done at people's houses, and I'm like, oh, that's got to be a lot of that's kind of like homework, but it all looked really fun.
Yeah. And a lot of times, too, you could actually get out of class and Rewind, too. Yeah. So we'd go film during Rewind. We'd be leaving the school for like 2.5 hours. And
so fun. Yeah, I did that. I got out of like econ when I did my first podcast with Serenity, and I was like, well, this is fun, dude. And then the bell rang. We're like, whatever, we're in the pocket right now. So
yeah, so you could leave, and we just get done shooting early, and usually she's like, okay, when you get done shooting, come back, and we go to like McDonald's or like Hardee's or something, and get like food, and just load up on food, and she
of course, freedom.
And we'd come back late, and she's like, why were you guys back late? And we were like, oh, we had the munchies.
You just be totally honest.
Yeah.
That's fun. Were you not? Did you ever have any other vocational wing classes?
Yeah, I did auto shop.
Okay.
I had Van B. I was actually in there with Max.
Oh, my brother Max. Yes.
Yeah, and he always asked me what this meant because I'm pretty big on auto and stuff. I've always been a pretty big car guy.
And he's pretty competent with all that stuff, way more than I am. But I imagine, you probably had to,
But he'd ask me, what's it? Or he'd always ask me to do his work.
Sounds a lot like him, yeah.
God, that room was so hot in there too. Yeah. I'm like, it's hot. I remember I chugged 4 Red Bulls in that class.
That's a lot of Red Bull, dude.
Red Bull, I chugged them too.
And what size cans? Were they like
the smaller cans?
Okay.
They were
it's still a fuck ton of caffeine. Though.
Yeah. I didn't feel very well. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
But I liked Van B too. He retired, but he was a really cool teacher. My mom said actually his dad was the shop teacher when she went there.
That's right. My dad was in vocational wing because he got himself into a senior class and he was a junior because he passed this like big test and it was the original Van B. And so my dad spent half of his junior year and half of his senior year in the vocational wing. So a whole year of school just spent on cars. And he's still a car guy, so like that's perfect. And then I did the same thing with band essentially, but it was like a lot of that was just wasted time. I'm like playing Wordle in the back of the room. I wish I could have done Rewind or done something more productive, but
oh my gosh, that just brings up to another great teacher. I keep getting on this.
No, please.
I keep getting on this topic of great teachers. Freaking Mr. Samarza.
I was about to say, yeah.
Mr. Samarza, dude, he was so awesome.
Well, were you in the music appreciation class, or what class did you have with him?
I had piano senior year with him.
Oh.
That was fun. I learned how to play Still DRE by Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg on the piano.
Oh, yeah,
and he'd like, okay, work on this song. And then when it came to like our playing test, he's like, why don't you know this song? I said, I've been practicing a different song. And I'm just constantly back there. Dun, 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 dun,
and he's a really good pianist too, because I've done a few musicals with him now. I think I've done 3. He was in Cinderella in the Pit, and then I did Zombie Prom, and then I did this most recently Little Shop of Horrors. And he can read both the lines at once and just transcribe and then direct everybody and then have all these cues, tell me to slow down and speed up and stuff. Like it's so crazy how talented he is. And he grew up playing in church and everything, so he's like an organist. So one piano's nothing.
Yeah, he's pretty awesome. He was one of my favorite teachers also.
That's awesome.
I had him, the first class I had him, I can't remember what class it was, but it was, we literally, I kid you not, we watched movies.
Yeah, so I think it was the music appreciation class, because was Reese in there? And was my brother in there? Was it because Max is for sure in there, because I had percussion class 4th period my senior year, all year.
I don't know if I was in the same period as him or at the same time, but yeah. I had that class. We watched movies, and literally, he'd just give us like 20 questions, and we would be sitting behind, where you put your notes or whatever. You do band. You did band.
Yeah, the music stand.
Music stand. And we'd do it on there, and I'd just get on my phone and look up the answers and get an A+ on everything.
Yeah, and you probably had 2 movie classes that year. Then film class was just. I loved it. I loved learning all of that stuff.
I didn't get a good grade in that class, but I still enjoyed it.
Maybe yours was a little biased or whatever.
Gosh, that brings me on to us. Like, dude.
Please.
I don't know since Mr. Smith's going to be on the podcast.
He's not going to listen to this episode, though, because he and I are going to have more of a formal interview. But I have some questions prepared for him and everything, but I wanted to keep it more organic. But whatever you say, I will defend just to make sure we're neutral. So go ahead. No.
I liked Mr. Smith for speech when I had him.
Oh yeah,
I had him for speech.
I had him for speech that year as well. I had him twice in a day sometimes.
But I don't know. I feel like a lot of people would get better grades than me. Mm-hmm. But I would be the better speaker.
Yeah. Well, what aspects do you think made you better than someone at speaking? Because
I feel like I had more vocal projection.
Okay, yeah, that's big.
More mood.
I believe that. You're beating me right now. Since I'm the podcast host because I might just be closer to the mic. But your voice is just more bass heavy.
And I had more eye contact as well, and I feel like I just don't like the other stuff that goes in, like, because it'd be like a 210-point speech, but only 120 of it was the actual speaking part.
Right.
And the other 90 was, the
slide
outlines,
like visual aid. Yeah.
Well,
because there's a lot of structure that goes into it. So he's trying to set you up to
right.
Succeed. But yeah, did you ever like rewatch those videos? I never rewatched those.
I
ever.
did.
I never did.
I did. I don't understand. Like, some people would get a 95% on something, and I'm like,
and you were in the room when it happened. You're like, what? No way.
Yeah, and I end up getting like an 82. Like, I didn't even get an A on a single speech in that class. Mm-hmm. So, and I prepare, and me preparing for a speech, I mean,
right? Yeah. No, for sure. And like I think it's just a tough class in general. I will say though, that class it directly correlates to stand up, and I've been doing stand up for like 6 months now. And so one of the things I learned about myself through that class that saved me some trouble early on was that I always went over my time, except for one time. Did you guys ever go to the field house and do like a lot of like fun exercises in there? And we did like did you ever do like the peer review speech? Where it's like a 5-point system. That was like first trimester, I think.
I don't think we did. We always did peer reviews after every speech. Uh-huh. Like he'd always give us a paper and we'd rate somebody else's speech.
I think it was the poem one. Did you ever do the poem one?
No, we did a movie pitch one. That one was pretty fun.
That sounds fuck, that would have been great.
I did
awesome.
But you could only pick from like it was Brothers Grimm fairy tales. Mm-hmm. So like Hansel and Gretel.
Okay.
And I'm gonna have to try to pull this up on my phone.
Well, because whenever it was like I think we had to like pick like a celebrity or something like that, and
yeah,
there was like a list you could choose from. I was like, well, I want to do like Rob Dyrdek, and he was like, pick from the list. I was like, oh, I guess I'll do Stevie Wonder then.
I picked Michael Jordan.
Okay, sick.
Yeah. Oh crap! I forgot my school email got deleted.
Yeah. Shit, yeah, you've been graduated for like a month now, haven't you?
Yeah.
Have you felt that at all yet? Because in my experience, I didn't feel graduation until the summer, when the next school year started, where I didn't
That's
have to buy
where I think I'm
supplies.
gonna feel it.
Yeah, because right now it just feels like another summer.
I haven't felt it yet. It just feels like summer right now.
Yeah, for sure.
But anyway, mine was like called. It was. You had to keep it somewhat similar to the original storyline, but like different actors. So like I had Shaquille O'Neal, Larry the Cable Guy,
Yeah.
And then I think Matt Damon or something
that's a stacked lineup right there, dude.
And it was basically like instead of them, their dad let them go because they had bad grades. And they were Asian kids instead of it's because they had bad grades. So
all right. How well did that go over?
I didn't mention that part.
Okay.
I didn't mention that part because I know I'd get deducted for that. But
very good delivery on that.
But on my actual storyline, they were Asian kids that got kicked out of the house because they had bad grades.
Well,
so they found this.
That's more nonfiction, to be honest with you.
These 3 guys kidnapped them, and it ended up being like Shaquille O'Neal, Larry the Cable Guy, and I can't remember the other guy.
You said Matt Damon, right?
No, Matt Damon was the dude that rescued him.
Oh.
And the other guy their dad was Adam Sandler.
Okay.
I can't remember. And you can just imagine how kicking him out of the house would go with Adam Sandler. I mean, that would be hilarious. I can't remember the other guy, but it was Shaquille O'Neal, Larry the Cable Guy, and a different guy. But they kidnapped him, and they woke up shackled to a bed in this house. Uh-huh. And it was basically like a Saw-esque thriller.
Right. Okay.
And this house was just being flooded with poisonous gas, and they had like 2 hours to escape it, and there were like 4 rabid.
That's like Saw 2 almost.
4 rabid pit bulls surrounding the house. So they had to try to escape the house without getting killed by rabid pit bulls.
That's a pretty good premise, dude. That's not bad.
Yeah. So anyway, I had the kids actors were Noah Jupe. You remember that kid? He played Miles Morales in a movie, I think.
Oh yeah,
or wait, no, not that wasn't that was a different guy, but he played in Ford versus Ferrari. He was. I don't know if you've ever watched that movie.
But I know about the movie for sure.
He played in Wonder.
Oh,
he played Jack. You remember Jack, the kid that was?
I read the book Wonder. It's one of the only books I've ever actually read and enjoyed.
He was the friend to the.
Okay, I'm sure I know. Yeah, I'm sure I know.
So anyway, it was
about.
him and then another Hannah. Hannah Grace, maybe I don't remember her first name.
Yeah, something like that.
But it was basically a Saw-ass thriller. They had to escape within 2 hours before they succumbed to the gas. And
this was all like the template you were given was like, did you have to pick like a Hansel and Gretel type story? Like, was that?
So he gave us we picked a list of all like the that Brothers Grimm stories. So
I guess
like,
I never knew
some was like Rapunzel and stuff like that.
Folklore shit.
Yes. Okay. So I picked that. I picked Hansel and Gretel, and it was named Pearl and Earl.
Weren't you just probably so excited to be like, oh, it's my turn?
I was so excited.
I can't fucking wait.
I was so excited, and I had like this giant ass budget. Like it was like $1 billion or something.
Okay. So that's part of the. Okay, that's fun. That's really fun.
And a whole budget and marketing and stuff. Like the audience was like Netflix,
right?
So you were wanting a picture.
He's always Mr. Smith is always so thorough with the criteria. That's really, really cool.
And I can't, but Matt Damon like rescued him and took him to a hospital to like get Narcan, and then they ended up both overdosing on Narcan and dying.
We need to get this fucking movie written, dude.
Yeah, dude, it was awesome.
I want to get into
the director was the director of It.
Oh, I forget that guy's name. I know who you're talking about.
He's big in a lot of movies, but yeah, he was my director, and it was a super fun project.
That sounds awesome. Yeah, because it's more like a passion type thing.
I come in. There was another speech of like the celebrity, and I come in there as Michael Jordan, and I bought like a Michael Jordan Bulls jersey off Amazon. So I come in there.
Off Amazon. So yeah,
so I was wearing a jacket. I was wearing a jacket. I had a basketball in there, and and I was like, "Who am I?" You may ask. And I ripped the jacket off.
And like the speech lights are on you and everything. It's like a production, what it feels like. Yeah.
And so I had no undershirt under that jersey, so I was just shirtless, which is a Michael Jordan jersey.
Yeah.
And you could see like my shoulders and everything, and the girls were just like this. And I'm like, it was a really good speech. I know a lot about Michael Jordan. So.
Yeah, that's fun. It's because the championship was like on Sunday. I watched the game, which son of a bitch. No, so it was tough. First quarter was bad. The rest of the game was kind of spoken for, but I kind of became a basketball fan this year.
Yeah,
and college football too. I really enjoyed.
Oh yeah, college football. I'm big in college. I'm excited.
I never cared about it till I went to like an IU tailgate, and I was like, oh, this is so fun.
I've never been to a tailgate yet.
Well, yeah, tailgate. Well, wait, because you want to make sure you can properly enjoy a tailgate. But with basketball, I need to watch the Last Dance documentary on Netflix. I know that's one of the most popular documentaries ever, especially basketball. I've seen a few basketball documentaries, like one where Larry Bird and Magic Johnson are like they like this like feud in like the late '70s all the way through the 80s. Yeah. And then
that's when young Michael Jordan was coming around,
and then the Bulls dynasty in the '90s,
and then Kobe come around,
right? And then
Shaq, of course,
yeah, big time. So yeah, it's just my mom and my dad were more my mom, but they were really big into basketball before I came around. But then they got busy just being parents and stuff. But,
right.
It's like the only sport that I actually like fully understand and fully grasp, and I could play a little bit if I had to. So I think that's probably like the sport I would give time to if I needed. I wish I'd gotten into more throughout the season this year. I had to wait till it comes back around in October or whatever. But yeah, sports are fun, dude. I was always like rebellious to it because I was a band kid,
Yeah, I'm probably not going to be able to go to many IU games because it'll most likely be more Notre Dame games.
Right. Are you going to school somewhere closer?
Yeah, I'm moving up to Fort Wayne to go to Indiana Tech. So
fantastic.
It's going to be. I mean, I'll still be a ways away from.
Well, it's like 3 hours away to get to Bloomington, so it wouldn't be.
Oh yeah.
But I bet Notre Dame games are probably awesome as well. And like they were in the championship.
They were in the national championship and lost to Ohio State.
Yeah,
but because they have some crazy freshman wide receiver that was built straight out of a freaking lab.
Yeah,
I swear, dude.
Oh well. Yeah, dude, we got toyed with this year because Martinsville didn't. Where did they live in the football? Like how close were they getting to the championship?
Us?
Yeah,
we got to semi-state.
Uh-huh.
So if we won that game, we would have went to Lucas Oil.
Oh wow.
We were very close. We lost to New Pal.
Damn.
And then they won state.
Yeah, and then Notre Dame, another Indiana team, which IU and Notre Dame started the playoffs together, and I was like, oh, what the hell?
Yeah,
that sucked. But then
I think Notre Dame had more of the chance to make it though than IU did.
Probably, but then another team about Indiana that got right there, and then the Pacers were in the fucking just a bunch of being second place sucks.
I don't know how long it's going to be till we have another football season like that one from Martinsville. I mean,
because I remember a lot of the team's buses would come by on Morgan Street when I'd be working at Greeks, and I was like, there must be having these are core memories they're making right now.
Oh yeah, it was awesome.
That's so cool. Well, I was watching I was actually into it. It was crazy. Well, I've never done that before.
My girlfriend being a cheerleader helped too.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I was always at the games.
Yeah,
and it was just crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just high school. I mean, I couldn't imagine going to a college game.
Oh wow,
dude.
Yeah. And I think I've always heard the argument that college ball is they're people's favorite because they're hungry to get into the NFL, so everyone's trying the hardest, and they're more in their prime physically because they're younger, and they're just more agile and stuff.
I love.
I still don't have a full grasp on how the game works.
Yeah,
I have to revise myself every year, and I went to every single Friday night football game at the high school for half a decade because of marching band. I just never watched. I was always like, when's the school song? All right, cool. I'll be over here until then.
Yeah. It was a great year. It was a fun senior year.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of emotions. I mean, obviously, I'm not single anymore, so that's an accomplishment.
That's great, yeah.
I was like, and
I've been keeping up to date on Snapchat.
I was like, I remember when because I'd asked her out twice,
mm-hmm.
and she'd said no to me. And I'm like, because that was the closest I got, because I'd taken
persistence.
I took her to junior prom.
Oh, awesome.
So, and I just kept asking, and I'm like,
come on.
Like, okay.
And did that. So it was like
there's
playful
some backstory behind why she said yes, but
mm-hmm.
I won't get into that on this.
Fair enough.
But
I figured we'd talk about this. Just Hank news, and I wrote the past 2 years on the list of shit to talk about.
But
I'm just part of it.
I just thought that night, I'm like, my streak is over.
Yeah.
Like my mind was just blank.
Uh-huh.
I was just, and then it kind of sunk in the next day. But
mm-hmm.
I don't really think I've kind of developed into it because we've been together for a year now.
Oh, wow.
So I mean, I'm just kind of being the guy and taking care and,
mm-hmm.
and trying not to be a dick.
Yeah.
I can be sometimes.
Words
There'll be times
to live
where
by.
I'm trying
Hank
to play
Fields.
I'm trying to play 2K
mm-hmm.
in my room, and I'll look at my phone and I've got 20 missed calls from my girlfriend. I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh damn, dude.
And
that's a lot of missed.
And then she'll call me back, and I'll ask her what she wants. I want to talk to you. And I'm trying to play video games with friends. I'm like, sorry, but I'm not talking to you right now.
You got to schedule ahead.
Yeah, I'm like, you tell me.
I'll be available at 8
I'll
p.m.
be available at 8 p.m. when I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, have you seen the videos on TikTok where they say, is that a 16 guard? They try to get the 16 guard haircuts.
Oh.
And she's like, it's basically how my girlfriend is. She's
uh-huh.
telling me she wants to talk, and I'm like, sorry, man, I'm not talking right now.
What's a 60? Is that like when they shave with like a? I don't understand. I am also not on TikTok.
I'll show you later.
Okay.
But it's
we got a lot of things to show me later.
Stupid.
Big old post show people are gonna miss out on.
Yeah.
We got rewind videos and music videos and TikToks.
Yeah.
The Wi-Fi sucks in here though.
Oh yeah, it does.
Mm-hmm.
I see dogs on there. My dogs are 6.
Oh, well, I put dogs in there because in film class we were watching a scene from No Country for Old Men, and it's with Josh Brolin and Javier Bardem. It's a Coen Brothers movie. But like we watched I forget why we watched the scene, but there's a scene where it like it gets you to think they might shoot the dog. And anytime a dog would be on screen, you would always go, "Oh,
yeah, I love dogs."
And then so like I know you have a soft spot for them, so I figured you'd have a good time talking about the dogs.
I love dogs. Dogs have really helped me through a lot of issues.
Well, they're the coolest. I think they're the sweetest companions, man. Because I don't really, not that I don't love any animal like more than like I like people, but I know pet love is certainly real, especially in dogs. You can't like really, you can't like hug a fish or like a lizard.
Yeah, I have dachshunds, miniature dachshunds, and they're the loveliest things ever.
Wait, I forget what dachshunds even look like.
They're wiener dogs.
Oh.
They're miniature wiener dogs.
That's fun.
There's only one animal I like more than dogs, probably capybaras.
Capybaras. What? Explain. I forget. It's been.
They're big guinea pigs. They're the big guinea pig looking things. The the giant rodents. They're absolutely. Some of them get up to like 170 pounds.
That's ridiculous.
They're like 4-H
hogs that you could show.
Yeah, but they're very chill. Like they can. Alligators will take them across the water and stuff. They'll just sit on alligators' backs and crap.
That's pretty cool. So you admire just like the way, like their character in the animal kingdom.
Yeah, these things.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm probably gonna put this on the Instagram pictures when I post the episode.
Yeah, this picture.
Yeah, look, it's okay. What's it? Capybara? You said?
Yeah, they're the world's largest rodent. They're semi-aquatic.
Yeah, because they look like squirrels a little bit in the face.
But yeah. I've always made the joke of if I ever had one, like look at this next to this guy's chest.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, these guys are big. So
it's in the rat family, rodents?
Yeah, so they have the constant growing teeth.
Okay.
So instead of like, a guinea pig chewing on like a little wood house, I'd always make the joke saying, "Oh, you're gonna have to buy 2x4s.
Mm-hmm.
Just go to Lowe's and buy a bunch of 2x4s, and you'll have a freaking capybara out there chewing on 2x4s, trying to trim its teeth down."
This is an audio podcast, but Hank just did a really good impression of what a capybara would look like, and I'm the only one that got to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fun.
I'm kind of worried about this next generation of high school. Some of these kids are like cavemen.
You just because of the internet and stuff?
Yeah, I'm worried about the Italian brain rot crap that's been going around lately.
Italian? People are wearing like wife beaters and chains and like.
No, it's these AI generated images. Like there's a crocodile and an airplane fused together.
But AI stuff is fun. But we're in that nice fun where we can still notice what's real and what's not. But soon enough, it's gonna be.
Yeah.
Unless it's in real life, we're not gonna be able to tell. It's gonna fuck up people's careers. It's gonna be bad.
Yeah.
God, it's gonna be terrible.
But just there's no dress code anymore now in school. Like, and I know that might be something stupid that I'm pointing out, but
I actually kind of want to talk because I wrote the past 2 years on here because I just haven't even really spoken to you in that long since graduation. So I know that everyone has to wear lanyards now. There's like smoke detectors in the bathrooms. There's like, I guess the dress code is more lenient. So I could wear a hat my junior and senior year to school, which I always liked because I would just wear, I would just have a buzz cut.
I loved hats.
Yeah,
I loved hats.
Speaking of that, I think the first interaction you and I ever had, it was your freshman year, my junior year. I was wearing the like that Russian kabushka hat, and I didn't even know who you were. You were just like, "That's the guy with the cool hat," and I was like, "Fuck yeah, dude!"
Yeah, I kind of remember.
Yeah, because I got that hat from Trader Baker's. It's like navy.
Was it the one where the parka hat?
Yes,
or whatever?
It looks like Kyle's hat from South Park.
Yes,
yeah, it's a good. I almost it's way too hot. It's fucking June right now while we're recording this,
and we're going through a big heat wave. It's stupid hot.
Yeah, but I'd rather it be hot than it be like bitter ass cold.
Yeah, I agree. But
yeah, so I know high school's becoming. I guess it's weird that the dress code is more lenient, but there's a lot of more rules because I know the lanyard thing was like a huge.
I've seen some crazy crap with the smoke detectors in the bathrooms. Like I remember a time I was just going into the bathroom to take a piss, and these kids they'd end up putting like plexiglass sometimes over the smoke detectors because kids would rip them out.
Oh wow!
And I remember a kid. I come in there one time, and this kid had a fucking Milwaukee drill, and he was up there drilling into the smoke detector
to get it
and trying to get it off.
Jesus Christ!
I'm like, you guys got to lay off on this.
And this is, it's a privacy thing because you can't put cameras in the bathroom for of course, but
that's not a camera though.
I know, but I'm saying, but that's like it's like a dead space where someone can potentially get away with that. But I mean, someone's so addicted to like where it's just like part of the routine. They have to take that into consideration.
I'm like, you can't wait till you get home.
Yeah, I know. But
I remember there was one kid smoking a bong in the bathroom one time.
Oh, you took a bong to the bathroom.
And I just,
good God.
And the smell was just putrid. I don't like the smell of weed at all. I've been to Las Vegas, so I've
I didn't know what weed smelled like until I went to New Orleans, and then I got a mixture of New Orleans weed smell, but then also mixed with ass. So then when I smelled weed by itself, I was like, oh, that was dirty ass weed. I was in the air the whole time. Canal Street.
But I hate it. Las Vegas is crazy.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to Vegas?
I've not been to Vegas. I don't feel like I would thrive very well in Vegas. I'm more of a...
there are weed dispensaries literally everywhere.
Yep.
Every half a mile, there's a weed... Like, you go down one street, there's like 10 weed dispensaries.
Well, I mean, it's just like... It's like Florida and Las Vegas are like touristy as hell. New York. I went to New York last year. Plenty of weed in New York. But like... but it's just weird because it's legal some places and legal and not legal.
I don't think... It's not legal in Indiana.
It's not.
But
it fucking might as well
weird,
be.
Yeah, I mean, what's weird is I find dispensaries in Bloomington.
Oh yeah,
I work in Bloomington, so I've seen weed dispensaries in Bloomington. I'm
no matter what, yeah, and people talk about it openly on stage and stuff too, or in comedy. I'm like, it's whatever.
Just don't. I just don't do it around me. Like I don't care if people.
Yeah.
I've never tried it. I don't plan on trying it, but just I don't like when people do it around me, mainly because I hate the smell.
Right. Yeah. I don't mind the smell. I don't even mind the smell of cigarettes. I like the smell. You ever smell like you ever be around cigars? Cigars are great. I like the way cigars smell a lot.
I want to go to a cigar lounge when I turn 21.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'll be 20 in like 2.5 weeks. Yeah, give or take.
20? You'll be 20?
Yeah.
Oh man, you're not that old. I'm 18.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're not that far apart because I always. I mean, I have this conversation probably 3 times a week, but like I would try to act older and perceive myself older and try to but of course I am. I look like this. I just happen to be 19 still.
Yeah, I remember you posting on like your stories or whatever, like pictures from you 5 years ago. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, because I've had a pretty decent glow up because I was like, I had acne and no beard. My beard's my favorite part of my face. Without my beard, I look so different.
Yeah, I remember one time you shaved.
Yeah,
you shaved one time.
It was November 2022 was the last time I had a baby face. It was because I was Walter White for Halloween. Very good, very fun. That was during second trimester. First. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting a little bit of a beard here too.
Yeah,
starting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, high school. I'm worried about the maturity of kids.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that's with every generation because I'm sure if you were in the room with like freshman Hank now, you'd be like, bro, this guy.
Oh my God.
Yeah, because I can even just tell by the way we're talking to you now, you've matured a lot since last time I was around you, man.
I know I was immature. I look
but
back on it now.
It's good that you have the self-awareness now to even admit that is really good though. So even if we're in agreement about that, it's that you change now. So it's whatever, it's fine. I always found you very fun. I always looked forward, but I was like, what's Hank going to do today? We got to see what's happening. And then you wouldn't be there. I'd be like, well, he's going to be boring as hell, I guess. I guess we're going to watch Charlie Chaplin movies.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of weird when a bunch of seniors are looking forward to see a sophomore.
Yeah, but you're just a big presence in the room, man. It's great. But, like, I do think the internet here's what I think. I think people from our generation, when we have kids, we're going to be on top of that shit because we know exactly what it did to us. So we're gonna we don't want our kids to like fucking be watching porn when they're like 11 or something. It fries your brain. Yeah, and it's not good. So I feel like there's gonna be a lot of security things where you can get on top of that kind of a thing. I just feel like people who are gonna be parents in our generation are just be much more aware of that. But who knows how many technological advances there's going to be. And I know that there's obviously ways around it and everything, but just to keep people sheltered and like maybe the general idea of like having cell phones in middle school would get pushed to high school or something like that, or just like whatever, like the version of I heard about these like smartwatches where all it does is like you can contact your parents, and it's like the phone Greg Heffley got in the third movie, where it's like, the fuck is this? It's like, well, this is a home button, this is a 911 button, and it's bulky as hell. It'll be like the whatever the 2040 version of that'll be, you know. And I just hope that the culture fixes that problem, because the internet is so bad.
Oh yeah,
I have a bit about internet culture and how
internet, like, there's some, like, the only, I think, tolerable websites on the internet right now for me is YouTube. Mm-hmm. I watch a lot of, I spend so much time on YouTube.
Yeah. But it's a great place to learn shit, though.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's so many great channels, but I mean, Instagram is really bad. Like, comments on Instagram are so bad.
Mm-hmm. I will say, even though it harps on like people's creativity, YouTube I think is the best on keeping the shit like, because like, you know how Twitter's just like, you can't even go on there, like it's overdone, like no, and it's over. Instagram's probably getting there, but it's the biggest one, so it's hard. There's plenty of still good shit on there too, but
it's weird. Facebook isn't that bad, and Facebook and Instagram are owned by the same.
Right? Yeah, it's all Zuck shit, but I think Facebook is more. But there's a lot more old people on there, and so it's I feel like it's less like attack. Right. But I mean, there's still a lot of hateful people on Facebook too. But there's also going to be hateful people no matter what. And it's just like how people always said, like there's always been dumb people in the world, but now everyone has a voice. So now you see all of it all at once. Like no one should be as connected as we all are anymore because we're all tribal by our upbringing.
The worst website, in my opinion, is Reddit.
Reddit is But
there are some good subreddits.
There's a lot, like there's like plot holes. I'll read that one sometimes.
Or like Am I the Asshole? I watch
I love that. Yeah,
but
like a Smosh does those, don't they?
After like the porn ban in Indiana and a lot of the porn websites, people are like putting porn subreddits.
There's so many.
It's bad.
Believe me, it's I have a track record. Yeah, I have a digital footprint. I know all about Reddit. But there's some scuff shit too, like shit you don't like. Me and Jude talked about this a few episodes ago where I was, because Jude showed me an ISIS video when I was 13. And I was like, it fucked me up bad, like super bad. I was not ready to see that at all. But then like a year after that, I was like at a lunch table and we saw a bunch of terrible shit on there. But that was on Discord. I think Discord's in the same vein as Reddit.
Discord's bad.
Yeah. But I think it's a lot of just like, I feel like that's more game oriented. I think, or like it's more for like communities, but it's a lot of it can be anonymous. But I think the idea of people being anonymous on there, it's like I can get away with anything because no one knows it's me. But Reddit there's some absolutely just like life rendering shit on there.
I remember there was a subreddit that I think it might have got taken down, but it was called Cartel Lore.
Oh, that's got to be tough.
It was bad. The first video I've ever seen off Reddit is somebody showing me the Ronnie McNutt incident. I don't know if you ever remember that.
I knew a kid from Drumline who got in trouble for posting that on his Google Classroom once.
What?
Yeah, overkill. No pun intended. That's awful. Suicide is that's a sore subject for me. Not that I've gone through anything like that, but I just know that's such a really delicate thing, and to people to personify and make it this like huge funny thing is real. I find that so criminal.
Well, I mean, and that kind of just brings me into the fact I stand up for like anti-suicide and like suicide awareness and stuff.
Right.
I've spoken in front of. I don't know if you ever seen. I spoke in front of the whole school in junior year about anti-bullying and suicide prevention and all this crap. Like
that's awesome, dude.
I know what it's like.
Not many people that age is willing to do that.
I know what it's like. There. You know, I've gone through crap with my mental health, and I don't want people to have to experience that with me. So I've always spoke up about it, and when people say go kill yourself, or something,
that's. Like the word like retarded, it's like it gets thrown around, you know, and so people it like loses its bite. But then if you reverse engineer like how impactful those words can be, it's like, oh, I forgot how sharp this blade could be, you know. But
right. So my mom was telling me about when she was in high school. The word retarded was you were either normal or you were mentally retarded.
Yeah, exactly. It was like diagnosis. It was like, that guy's retarded. It's like it was the word they used, and then it caught on and became a put down and stuff. But I think it's kind of back because I think like 2018 era, it was like a huge deal to no one could say that shit anymore. But now it's I heard someone else talk about it on a podcast the other day where if enough people agree that a word has like a second meaning, where it's just like you're just calling someone as stupid as you could possibly be, and like some words just don't justify it, but the word retarded, used in the right sense, it can bring a humorous intent. And if you're comfortable with someone, you can use it and it's fine. But it's like, as long as you that barrier's not there and stuff. But like, And it's a word I try to avoid just because I just know it can get me into trouble, and it's just not a good habit to have. But it like if I hear it in a movie, like if I watched Idiocracy. Ever see Idiocracy?
Yes, my dad told me he thought that's what the world's going to turn into.
I mean, it probably is, to be honest. But that movie came out. I was born in 05. You're born in 06 or 7? 07. Yeah, so like, but still like the era where like that word was like, even fag was like a word they used a fuck ton in that movie.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, oh, this is 20 years old. But I'm like, they're way different now. You can't do this now.
But now, like, people are starting to say that again.
Yeah, because I feel like it's like, oh, okay, well, you like the people who want to keep those words away are like, oh, you've had your fun, but now we're going to take it back. I'm just like, well, that's not. But I also think it's cool that but gay people have like, they've turned that word to like a, they call it the F slur. So like that's a way to say it without saying it. Just how the N word is a word. I'm not gonna say that. But
obviously
but
not.
Clearly it's like we put a new label on it to like censor it. But it's like, I think taking the power out of that word is like calling it the F slur. It's like, hey, this is actually a pretty harmful word, and it used to be used when people were being beat up for just being gay, which I'm like, I can't even imagine that now. Can you imagine how horrifying that would be to see that in real life today?
I don't know if I want to open up about my views about all that, but my views are kind of, as long as you don't shove it in my face, I'm cool.
Right. Just with religion too. It's as long it's personal things. You don't have to push on everybody. It's just boundaries.
If you're gay or whatever, I'm cool with that. Just don't shove it in my face. But I couldn't imagine if me putting myself in the scenario of me just getting, or even seeing it, somebody just because they like boys, if they're a guy liking boys. Getting just beat up. I couldn't imagine that.
Like the unadulterated cruel hate would just be sickening. So
it's awful. That's
awful.
That's a big civil rights thing.
Yeah, big time. How do we get on this topic? I forget. Oh, the kill yourself thing. Because it's like that. It's on the same vein of like words do have a lot of meaning, and like even like when they abbreviate it, where it's like KYS
or whatever.
Right. I'm just like, that people take that shit serious, and it's just a very heartbreaking thing.
Well, I mean, a lot of kids behind screens in comment sections don't know that some kids will take that seriously.
Yeah, and they don't know what they're going through and everything.
And that's a kind of a thing with autism is.
Which are you comfortable talking more about that?
Totally.
Because there's is it Asperger's? Is that what you're diagnosed with, or is it?
I'm diagnosed with that, but it's so there's actually a story behind Asperger's, and I'll get into it. It's low functioning or high functioning autism. Asperger's was used in World War II by a doctor named Hans Asperger's.
That's right, yeah.
And he would basically diagnose people like before they go into camps, and if they were autistic but they were competent enough to work, he'd say that they have Asperger's.
Okay.
So that's where that term comes from. They don't use it as a diagnosis anymore.
Right.
It's just high functioning autism or whatever. But that it stems back to World War II, and I found that out at work the other day.
Oh, really?
But something with autism is I take a lot of things to heart when things are said. I take medicine to strengthen my emotions
and like kind of regulate everything
and regulate things. It's kind of an antidepressant, but if I'm not on my medicine, I just take everything to heart. I used to take everything to heart back in like second grade or elementary school. My mom first noticed something was up when I asked my mom to bring a teddy bear to school, and she wouldn't let me, and I was just flipping out, like I was crying, and I'd like second grade, and I was giant. I mean, I was huge, and these kindergartners were bothering me, bullying me. And I'd take that to heart. I got in trouble because I got mad at a kindergartner on the bus. I started banging his head up against a bus window because I got mad at him. So that's when I definitely started getting checked out.
Yeah, which I'm happy that there's a way to to regulate it now, have access to those kind of medications, because before they would just be like, silly house, go to the silly house, put a straight jacket, where it's like, that's
right. Luckily
we have modern medicine now, but yeah, I was never. I mean, about being big, I was always kind of tall in school, but yeah. So I didn't realize you were. I thought you had like a growth spurt in like 6th or 7th grade, like most people. But
oh my god, I was giant.
That's crazy.
I was when I was little, I think I was in like the 97th
percentile
of growth. So like my 2-year checkup, I'd have to ask my mom this, but I'm pretty sure I was like 50 pounds at 2 years old.
Okay, which is a lot, I'm assuming, because I guess because until you're like 8 or 9 years old, you don't start like actually like saying, oh, I'm like 4, whatever, like I'm like 5'1", whatever. So it's weird to quantify.
I think I was like 5'3" in 4th grade.
Dude, whoa, behemoth.
Yeah, and I was like 140 pounds. So and then I just kept growing. I've kind of stalled out a little bit, but I'm honestly not that upset about it because I don't want to be like fucking Shaquille O'Neal.
Right, yeah.
I mean,
because my feet would grow a lot when I was in middle school, and I was wearing like size 13s when I was 12, so not nearly as severe, but like still I was like, oh, if this gets any worse, I'm gonna lose selections, you know?
I mean, I wear size 15s.
Damn.
So it gets to the point where it's really hard to find my size of shoe.
Yeah, and you get pissed off. You're like, I want those, but they don't make them.
Yeah, so my mom and I will go shopping on a website called like Big Feet or something. I don't know, but it's custom made shoes. I mean, and shit's a lot more expensive.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Like for me, getting one pair of jeans is like $80. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, no kidding.
So I wear like 38s or something, just behemoth of jeans.
Hard to find those in store too. Yeah. Yeah, I'm like a longer body too, so it's hard to find jeans that I like to fit. So
that's the same thing with my brother. He has really long legs, but he has a small waist. So most of the times, his waist is really small, but
and Target's not gonna like tailor jeans. It's like, well, this is what the sticker says, so fucking deal with it.
But yeah, I've always been called a gentle giant. So when I was younger, I was gentle and I was loving, but I was big. So people would be scared of me, but
yeah, you're like, well, you're hard because you still have a kid brain, so it's not like.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've always, but I'm still like that. Like I don't intend to harm anybody. I don't use my size to do any. Like these kids were bullying my brother, and I told him, I said, I mean, if you guys don't, because these kids are my age and they're bullying my 15-year-old brother. I'm like, this isn't okay.
No, yeah, I'm a bigger brother too, and like Max is at the point where he doesn't need my help anymore. But there's been instances where it's like, isn't it a bit satisfying to be like, oh, I'm gonna fuck these guys?
Yeah, I've definitely
or at least like threaten them
because they think they're cool. And and after one kid egged our house and
that's so hacky,
screwed up the paint on our garage door. And they'll come down our road for no reason, and my sister will be out on the golf cart, and they'll just blow black. They have big diesel trucks, and they'll just blow black smoke all over my sister.
Jesus, that's like harmful. It'll
I have lungs, I mean, my car's a diesel, but I don't blow smoke on people.
Yeah.
Like it. But yeah, they were out one night just screwing with my brother, and they were throwing eggs. Like one kid was like, "Oh, Mac's not gonna like what I'm about to do." And he just started throwing eggs at his head, and my brother knew he wasn't allowed out to where that place they went. He kept telling his friend that he was with that I'm not allowed out here. So he told my mom that he went somewhere else because he didn't want to get in trouble. But they had graphite and crap, and they were hitting him with graphite and stuff, so he just had black and egg yolk all down his jeans.
That's like assault. That's like the guys in Forrest Gump.
And he ran into the woods. He recently recovered from like an arm injury from track.
Damn, dude.
And when he was hiding from him, they were out with like flashlights and stuff looking for him.
That's like full on harassment, and he's outnumbered too. What? That's terrible.
Well, here's the thing: is the friend he was with didn't do anything about it. He just stood there. And now my brother's not friends with that kid, and that kid hangs out. With all those kids, I saw him at the lake the other day. He thinks he's hot stuff, and that kid in the first place didn't have any friends. But the only reason he has friends is because me and my brother, and he just betrays us.
Well, that's shitty. That's really bad. But
so I basically told him, I said, if you guys don't stop, if you lay hands on him one more time, it's over for all you guys.
Yeah, dude. And and you're strong too. Like, cause I remember I see you at Planet Fitness, and I'm just like, dude, I would never even touch that weight. What the fuck?
Yeah, I've screwed up my knees from that a little bit.
I screwed my knee up from my knee injury. I'm sure I've talked about it on the podcast before, but like, did you know anything about my fucked up knee? You know about the scar, the little party trick I can do with the scar? No. Basically, all right, I'm wearing joggers right now. I will find a picture really quick or a video. I have one recent, and then I'll probably put that in the Instagram thing too. I'm just speaking out loud so I don't forget. Come on, it's got to be here just recently. Basically, I can make it look like a vagina. Call it the nussy, respectively. It may not be in my camera roll right now. Either way, I fucked my knee up when I was sliding on my kitchen tile with socks on, and I like turned a corner and my knee buckled, and then I had to get surgery. Oh. And but like now there's like scar tissue and there's a couple of screws in there. So when I bend down my left side, I'll hear it all pop and like rummage together. The joint works fine. I can run it and stuff. So it's totally operational. And I usually forget about it unless I'm like actively telling the story. But like that's why I like never hit legs, just because I was talking to a buddy at work. There's a gym at my work. I work at Cook Medical, and he was doing like incline on the treadmill, and he's like hitting his calves a little bit, and his quads were firing. And I was like, I don't really do a leg day because of my stupid little fucking jackass injury, but it fucked me up bad. I was a long recovery. I had like 17 staples in that leg. It was pretty bad, but we're good now. Have you had any bad injuries?
No, I will say though, Jackass has some of the most atrocious injuries of all time. Mm-hmm. If you've ever, I'm sure you've watched Jackass. Oh yeah,
I rewatched the third and the fourth one like not too long ago.
It is the one where he was on that. Was it Forever where he got on that big bull or whatever with the milk in his hat? He got rammed by it or whatever.
Oh, Johnny Knoxville.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because they did like two versions of that. I think in the third one, there's like a picture of like a rainbow with a tree and then like they paint him to fit right to the portrait, and then the bull comes around the corner and he gets hit from the side and lands on like his neck and stuff. It's terrible. But my favorite like little moment from Jackass 3 is it's towards the beginning, and it's just a regular like little T-ball set where it's like a right degree angle,
right?
Yeah, and they always announce and like they always say the stunt name, and Steve-O's sitting there, he's wearing just like a diaper and
his weird voice. Steve-O's weird voice.
He's like, ugh, I'm Steve-O, and he's like, why do I have to be fucking Steve-O? But then they hit the batter thing right into his fucking dick and balls, and I'm like, fuck.
Have you seen the one where it was the heavyweight?
I know what you're about to say right now.
The heavyweight boxer,
yeah, dude,
and then the softball pitcher,
yeah, because he's wearing like that little steel cup, yeah.
Oh my god,
the pogo stick.
Oh
yeah, dude. There's a hockey guy. He was so precise because I rewatched. I was like, that's so goddamn impressive.
Yeah,
hit him like because he had like the face guard and he hit him right in the face, and then also like right in the. Oh, it's insane.
Yeah, it's so weird because like you can kind of feel it. Like,
oh yeah, because I watched it in theaters, dude. And
oh my god! Or the triple wedgie. Remember that one with the midget?
Yes,
I love that
with
one.
Fucking Wee Man.
Or the first one where they had the car. It was the first ever stunt they did, and they rented that car from that.
Well, there was the show for a while, and I think did the show come first or the show?
The show came first.
Yeah, and then they did the movie. But where they rent the car from like Enterprise and take it to the Derby, and they come back and there's so much shit. Have you seen Bad Grandpa, where it's Johnny Knoxville plays Irving? It's called Bad Grandpa. It's like Jackass derivative. It's from like I think 2012. So it's old as hell now.
I have my mom and dad talk about it all the time, but I've never watched it.
The hardest I think I ever laughed as a child was Johnny Knoxville plays the old guy, and they're in like this diner place, and he takes a fake shit on the wall, and it splats on the wall, and like there's nothing when you're 8 years old. There's nothing funnier
than shit.
Yeah, and I backed it up 9 or 10 times, and just like. God, what an we're the ones who you break a sweat, and it was so fucking funny.
Or yeah, like you have a headache afterwards because you're laughing so hard.
Yeah, dude. And then in the fourth one, Dave England is doing like the interview, and then they drop like gallons of bull semen on him.
Oh my god, yes, I've seen that one. That one was bad, dude. Was that 4 or 3.5?
I think it was 4. Yeah, I like the 0.5s too because you get to see more shit behind the scenes and they get to learn about stuff.
Yeah,
Jackass 2 is really good as well.
He was doing an interview and then they just dumped like a
and it got like there's the little boop goes into his mouth too. Oh, it's so bad.
I think the most painful one had to be when they did the paper cuts in between the feet.
Oh fuck! I just jumped from that.
Yeah,
fuck,
that
man.
one was bad.
God,
the wasabi snooters. You remember that one too?
Oh,
I actually tried that.
Wait. Is that like, they were like in like a bar and they did a bunch of wasabi and like
they snorted it with their nose?
Yeah. Jesus.
I tried that.
What happened?
It was bad.
Yeah. Well, yes.
It was so bad. And then when they put the car in his ass, the toy car in his ass, they put it in the condom and they put the car in his ass.
Yeah, dude.
Don't tell anybody this.
Yeah, that's right. Or I think the very end of Jackass 2 is like one of the craziest stunts ever, where they have a Danger Aaron get into he has to like hijack the taxi driver, but the taxi driver's in on it, but Aaron doesn't know, so he has like the bomb strapped to his chest, and then the taxi driver like takes him hostage, throws him in the trunk, and then the whole prank is on Aaron, but they put a beard on him and they use the entire cast and crew's pubes to make it.
Oh my god, dude.
Yeah. And so like one of the guys had crabs. It's like,
what?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Motherfucker, yeah, it's fantastic.
Do you remember the one where I think this might have been Jackass Forever, where they put him in that house? Like it was a fake, like it was a set house, and they turned the lights off, and there were like snakes in there.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they did that a couple of times. Fuck, it's crazy. Or dude, the fucking the sweat cocktail that Preston makes, and then Steve-O drinks the sweat from the sweat bag, and then throws up immediately.
Like some LA Beast activities.
Yeah. God, it's so awful. But I mean, I'm very happy that I get to exist around. You know, get to enjoy it.
I could watch that a million times. Mm-hmm. When they light the fireworks in their parents' houses or whatever.
Yes,
that'd be scary.
I know, but yeah, when that shit was all coming out, it was like the early 2000s. So like, people they're all like they're all plenty into their adulthood. It was over 20 years ago. So imagine they were like our age. They're like in their 40s probably at this point. Like imagine like being like a teenager when all that shit was like hitting the MTV and everything. It would have been so fun where it was brand new. Do you ever like romanticize about a decade you never were a part of? Because I really liked the 90s a lot, but because my parents got together in the 90s, so I feel like I'm kind of a product of it, but I was never around for it. So do you have like, I don't know, do you ever get nostalgic about a time you never lived through?
Yeah, I mean, I'd think the 90s would be fun, obviously, because basketball, Michael Jordan, Bulls dynasty.
Of course, but all the cool movies coming out, all the new music, and like the grunge
the scene. 80s, dude. Oh, my God, dude. I'd love to be in the 80s.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think the 90s was like so it was, I don't have to get too back into history, but like the Industrial Revolution was what kind of set us up into now. So I feel like it's the last like phase of
the last branch
before the internet. The internet was like late in the 90s and stuff, and so I feel like that was like the apex of living. And so I'd like live vicariously through movies. So many movies from the 90s that I love.
That are like the 60s. I'd like to live in the 60s.
60s are also
because me being big into automobiles, I love 60s cars.
My dad and I just talked about this on an episode recently because I asked him the same question. I always said, I was like, yeah, well, you guys lived to the 90s, so you guys probably don't romanticize it like I would. So his 90s is the 60s, just when the muscle car started coming around.
Yeah. The 60s, the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, just those 4 decades I love.
Yeah, there's so much, because I feel like the further we get into, our own time, like there are a lot of things are going to be forgotten, but there's like classic movies like Jaws or like, we just mentioned Shawshank Redemption or like, even movies like a movie like Psycho. We watched that in film class.
Psycho?
Yeah, with it's Norman Bates and like the girl gets murdered at the hotel.
Oh, was it a silent movie?
No, it was one of Alfred Hitchcock's most famous movies.
Okay, yeah, I think I remember that.
Yeah, you were in both halves of that class, were you not? You were in the first, because it was first trimester, then it was third trimester of film class. Did you ever like write the script at the end of the year?
I don't think so.
Damn, so maybe we're just in the first half then.
I remember we watched that silent movie and I absolutely hated that.
Yeah, I imagine. There's no dogs.
Yeah, there's no dogs.
Yeah, that was a silent movie that they made in 2011, and so I think it won a bunch of Oscars and stuff. But like, it was a cool way to kind of see what like the starts of everything, because I like just the bare beginnings of film was really cool to go into, and then see like a modern version of that. I thought was really, really neat.
Yeah, dogs. Probably the saddest and one of my favorite movies I've watched is The Art of Racing in the Rain.
Never heard of that.
It's a great movie.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember.
How old is it? Is it like a few years old or like?
I think it was made like 2013.
Okay,
it's like it's pretty. I mean, it's not new, but
yeah, but it's like modern. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
I bet
movie.
we can fucking. By the way, we're at the library right now, guys. Forgot to say that. There's like I was looking at like the DVDs before you got here. They have bunch of movies. I bet you could probably find it over there because it's all alphabetized.
Yeah, it's a great movie. My favorite movie is probably Ford versus Ferrari, just because racing.
And that just came out, right?
2017, I think.
Oh, okay. Have you heard about the Brad Pitt movie coming out this Friday? Mm-hmm. F1.
F1, I'm excited.
Yeah,
I'm a big F1 guy. So
yeah, well, I listened to his appearance on Dax Shepard's podcast. It's called The Armchair Expert, and so like they always get a bunch of big celebrities in there, but they mainly talked about that movie towards the end, and it got me really, really excited because did you ever see Top Gun Maverick? Just just a fucking cool action movie that is, where it's just aesthetically pleasing and it's made for the theater. I think that's what this movie's going to be, and I kind of don't want to miss it.
I don't want to miss it either. I unfortunately, like I was planning on going to see it Friday, but I'm going to Holiday World.
Oh yeah.
So I'll probably watch it. I'll probably watch it sometime next week.
I wonder how many thousands of people come to Holiday World every summer because I've went there a bunch of times over the years.
They need more roller coasters, in my opinion.
Yeah. I was there 2 summers ago, and I had given myself a buzz cut right before. I did not put sunscreen on my head. I really fucking regret that. A lot of fun though. I really do like that place a lot.
Speaking of bald, like every time I had Mr. Harrison at school, I'd always think about putting a plunger on his head.
Yeah, because he's like silky smooth bald on top.
Yeah. God, dude, I hated that guy. He started teaching government.
Oh, Mr. Harrison did?
And I had it senior year, and oh my God.
Yeah, government was like my least favorite class.
He said,
ever.
I'm gonna be neutral bias on politics and everything.
And he wasn't.
He wasn't, and I was like, I was in the back in misery.
I had Mr. Hiles for that, and
I had Mr. Hiles,
Apex. What? Yeah, he. I had him for homeroom 2 or RDI, whatever we called it. So he knew me pretty well at that point, but it was because I always heard about people who had like the Mr. Marion's government class, and I was always like, I don't want to do that at all. So then I got just the easiest route out, and I would just fucking have fun in there all the time and just pass all the classes, like all the assignments really easily, and just it's one of those classes you have to take. So it was econ.
Oh yeah.
Who was econ for you?
Mr. McKinney.
Yeah, dude.
Dude, he was so cool.
Fucking the question of the day was most of the class.
Yeah. Was like, what's your favorite food? And then most of the class, 40 minutes of like 55 would just be talking about, I mean, that's a pretty good, I mean, that's good too. I mean, I actually, I forget, one of the questions of the day for him was, like a skill you have, and then he was making fun of someone. He's like, it's one guy came in here and said he could juggle, and I was like, I can juggle, Mr. McKinney. And he had balls and I showed everyone how to do it. So I was like dope, cool. But the way I taught myself through YouTube, I just taught to the class, and I was like, check it out, and I just did it. And then I juggled so much bullshit at Walmart when I worked there. I juggled cantaloupes. I juggled basketballs. Cantaloupes?
Yeah, dude.
Oh, my God.
In front of my boss. I wasn't even on the clock. It was the day I had off, but I was like, hey, Jade, check this shit out. And I just did it. But basketballs, though, was fun but I have big fucking hands, though. So as long as you cradle it right there in your forearm, though, you can, as long as you initiate, then it's just a machine until you're done. Right. It's so fun. I always forget I can do it. And I'm like, fuck yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, I always wonder how those guys fit in those cars, like the clowns, dude. Fit in those little clown cars.
I need to get a unicycle because that's some shit I would love to try to do.
Yeah, speaking of clowns, dude, I feel like the most low-budget horror movie, Terrifier.
Yeah. I've seen the kill count for Terrifier.
Oh, Dead Meat's kill count, dude. I love that guy.
James H. Have you listened to their podcast?
No, I don't.
Okay, well, there's plenty of like if you eat, like they do a lot of new releases, so like shit'll be out in theaters, and they'll be like, all right, well, here's like a non-spoiler portion of the movie, then they'll go all the way into it. So I'll like re-listen to those, and it's almost like I like get to rewatch the movie in my brain. And I had a car trip from Columbus a few weeks ago, and it kept me awake on the way home. Listen to that.
What's your favorite kill count? Like.
Let's see. Well, I liked when they do. Okay, they're not my favorite movie series, but the kill counts themselves was the Halloween movies because those came out on Fridays in 8th grade during the fall season of marching band, and it would coincide with football games. So I would come home like all throughout that season, and I would be like, oh fuck, the first Halloween 1's on. And I would watch that when it was brand new because I got into him when I was like 12, I think. Yeah, it was a lot. That's a really fucking fantastic YouTube channel. But
I like how enthusiastic, there's, and he hits him with a sick ass drift.
Yeah,
it's splattered in the face.
Title card. Yeah, I do
title card.
Yeah, I do that with a lot of movies because like even if it's like just like in the theater. Yeah, that's
Dude,
great.
I love Dead Meat. He's a great YouTube channel. I think my favorite was probably 28 Days Later.
Oh yeah, I haven't watched that one yet because I know those are like crazy ass zombie movies. But like I know that is he doing them now because 28 Years Later is coming out soon?
Mm-hmm. Well, I know he did 28 Days Later a long time ago.
Okay, well,
but I mean, yeah, it's 28 Years Later is coming out soon.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty excited.
Mm-hmm. Damn, yeah.
I like zombie movies.
Mm-hmm. So like what? So
Train to Busan was pretty good.
I never heard of it because I was about to say like Zombieland, but it's way too mainstream.
I've watched Zombieland. I like that movie.
Yeah, it's more of a comedy though than it is a horror.
Train to Busan it's Korean. And he did a kill count on it. You'll have to watch it sometime. But it's just absolutely crazy. Like there'll be just mauling people to death, and crazy.
Just like, like the actual practical effects, I'm assuming.
Yeah. I asked my girlfriend if she wanted to watch Terrifier one time. Terrifier 2, because that's, in my opinion, Terrifier 2 is the worst one.
Oh really? You mean like in terms of gore, or just like in the first one doesn't he cut a girl from like the vagina to the head?
I think that's the second one.
Jesus Christ.
The second one is he scalps a girl, and then he puts like bath salts in her head
God,
like, just crazy.
Fuck.
Crazy crap, dude.
And
it's bad.
The third one came out recently, right?
Yeah, and luckily he didn't show it, but a girl was hiding in a cabinet, and he had an axe, and he opened the cabinet, and she was in there, and then it went to a black screen.
Jesus. I bet that's probably kind of hard to...
It's hard to watch.
Well, I mean, just like from like a movie-making standpoint, because I'm always thinking about that when I watch horror movies. I'm like, how are they accomplishing this? Because I can't get scared anymore by them. I just can't. Because I'm so interested in like how they pulled some shit off, or just like, I know there's like a whole set crew, like how they pull off all the jump scares, and like The Conjuring was probably like the scariest movie to me growing up. But now I'm like, this is just a aesthetically well done movie. It's like it's like one of the good like scary ass movies like that.
I don't get scared, but I was just kind of grossed out by the sheer amount of gore that was in Terrifier 2.
And do you like the Saw movies?
Oh my God, yes. I love Saw movies, dude. John Kramer. The timeline is a little confusing.
Yeah, for sure. Because like the 10th one's all weird.
I love all the traps, and
the first 4 are probably great, and then I think the 5, 6, and 7, I never know which one I'm watching when I turn them on.
Yeah. I mean, obviously the classics, the reverse bear trap.
Oh yeah. The
shit house, or the shit room, or whatever.
Or like the bed of needles, like the pit of needles in the second one.
Oh my God, dude! I
learned how I watched a video on how they did that. It's all rubber shit, but like a lot of it is plastic, so it was for sure uncomfortable. But like they wanted to make sure that there was like needles going into her skin, and then they like had like red food dye to make sure like the blood was coming out and all that stuff. But like just gnarly shit. I watched this in middle school. It was what a fun time that was. It was like fall of like 7th grade.
Yeah. So there was one. I don't know if I like this one. Spiral.
Yeah,
from the Book of Saul. Yeah,
that was that. Yeah, that was Chris Rock and Samuel L. Jackson. I watched that in the drive-in like 4 years ago. I just like it because of the cast, but it definitely it kind of played into kind of that anthology thing. And then the 10th one, which came out like 2 years ago now. That one I was like, well, this is just. Where does this fall in between the movies? It was the flashback, of course.
Final Destination movies are crazy, too.
Yeah, I know about, I've seen the kill counts on those. But, horror movies, people don't like those a lot of the time, where I'm like, but I really fucking enjoy them.
I do, too.
I think my favorites are for sure Nightmare on Elm Street, because I just like Freddy Krueger a lot. The Friday the 13th ones are just, like, very repetitive, but the first one's cool, I guess, but Jason's not even in it. But Nightmare on Elm Street has like the most variety, because there's like well-made movies, but then there's just some shit ones.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre. There's one movie I watched. I can't remember what it's called. I'm so bad at remembering names of things.
Yeah, but could you describe it? We can probably figure it out.
It's a movie of, I wouldn't necessarily call it horror, but it's kind of creepy. It's this lady. She was a model, and then she got old, and she got fired. Basically,
The Substance.
The Substance, yes,
dude,
and she took that crap, and then and then she just split. Like she started coming out of her own.
Listen, I watched that in the front row of a completely sold out theater at IU. It wasn't at the AMC. It was at this I've seen a few movies there. I actually got to meet a director of a movie called 18 and a Half. Shout out Dan Mervish. No way he's listening to this, but just because. But like it's like real life theaters where there's like a stage involved, but then they have a projector, and we barely got seats for it. But like I watched that just like my eyes glued to the screen the whole time, and the pacing's so good, and a lot of nudity, so much nudity in that movie. But it's such a well done movie, and I think. Demi Moore, that's the main actress in that. She for sure should have won Best Actress at the Oscars because she just put on a crazy ass performance like that. Yeah, that movie's really crazy. It's fucking wild. Did you enjoy it?
I don't know. I was a little creeped out.
Yeah.
Like I said, it was a well done movie, like you said, but I was a little creeped out.
And the ending was fucking bizarre.
Yeah, where she was like the blob.
Yeah, it was like the fourth version of like this. Yeah.
And then another movie, The Walrus. Have you heard of that one where the guy like kidnaps this guy? It's almost like a human centipede-esque kind of thing, but he wants to turn him into a walrus.
I've not heard.
It's a weird movie, dude. I was watching it on my way to work. I was listening to it and I was watching it like when I was getting Chipotle on my way to work. Yeah. I was just watching random videos. There was how to beat the Walrus Man.
Oh, is that like a film theory thing? Or is it
like how to beat the Saw movies, or how to beat the platform. Have you watched that movie?
Describe it.
So they go on a platform. There's like a bunch of floors, and they put a bunch of food on it, and it comes down, and
I'm sure
basically the further down people get, the less food they get until like there's none. And like every month or something, they randomize.
Yeah, there's a few movies like that. There's a movie called Circle where it's like it all takes place in like one place, but there's like how do we all get here? We got to figure this shit out. There's like some crazy like god like beyond like ambiance like controlling everything. I don't know. That's There's another movie from the 90s called Cube. I watched a bunch of middle school.
I think I've watched that movie.
Yeah, it literally takes place in like the same set the entire time.
I think Train to Busan's almost like that. I mean, there's a couple scenes in like an airport or whatever, but most of it is in a train.
Where it almost feels like a play, where it's all the same
it's
set.
All in a train.
I love movies like that where they're self-contained.
Right.
I want to direct and write a movie in the future, and the idea that my baseline would probably be like that, where it's like we just pick this. It's cheap to make it like that, where the dialogue would have to be strong enough to get the story across.
Another great movie like that, Don't Breathe.
Yeah, I love Don't Breathe.
Oh my god.
Oh shit, Don't Breathe is the shit.
You were mentioning like in the same set, and I'm like, oh my god, dude, Don't Breathe in a house.
That guy's fucking so scary.
I don't know how I like Don't Breathe 2. I don't think it really needed a sequel.
Yeah, I don't think it needed. I don't think I even saw it. What the fuck happens in the sequel?
But Don't Breathe, dude.
2016.
I figured out about it. James A. Janice on a kill count video. I'm like, I have to watch this movie. Awesome movie.
You know who my uncle Mike recommended I watch that, and him and his wife, my aunt Dawn, they watched, and Dawn was like, I don't think I like it, and then Mike was like, I'm gonna go tell my nephews about it, and then Max and I watched it together, and like, dude, the turkey baster scene is fucking. Good God, it's just awful.
Well, I mean, I think with those movies, it kind of like puts you into that situation. Like you're like, holy shit!
Yeah,
I'm robbing a house and this guy is blind, but he can hear us like a hawk and he knows where we're at.
And he's like a war vet, and he's mourning his daughter and stuff, and
then the lady he kept in the basement that killed his daughter.
Yes. Fuck! It's such a twisted, crazy fucking movie.
I love movies like that.
God damn. Hey, where do you work, though? I don't think I ever...
I work at Kroger.
Oh, hell yeah. Which one? There's a bunch in Bloomington.
It's the one off College Avenue.
Yeah.
So, 2nd Street, it's right by Wendy's.
Right across from Blue Tip. I'm there all the time. I park in that. Blue Tip's the pool hall, right? You can see it from the front. It's a bunch of graffiti on the walls.
They call it Krogetto.
Yeah.
That's the one I work at. Another movie that's kind of like that, it's called Cooties.
Cooties? Okay. I don't think I've seen this.
There are a couple different locations. Most of the time of it's in a school, and it's basically this like virus that gets in chickens, and the kids were eating chicken nuggets, for lunch, and that basically turns them into human eating zombies, and a bunch of like over 100 kids get it, and it gets to the point. Like there's one scene in a car where the son gets in, he's all tore up, and then he infects the baby with it, and like a newborn baby, and the baby ends up like killing the mom.
Little baby zombie.
Yeah.
I thought that was only in like Minecraft and shit.
Chicken Jackie.
Yeah. Oh, I saw that movie too.
That has to be the top selling movie this year, regardless of what else comes out.
Yeah, it has to be.
That movie.
It could have been a total summer blockbuster, but they put it in April. But
have you seen like the videos of in the theater when he says chicken jockey?
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
I got lucky. So like, did you do movie day for senior week?
Yeah, I saw Mario Bros that year.
I got to see Minecraft.
Oh wow.
And Mr. Wagner, he was like, "We're not saying chicken jockey or anything like that."
Carl Wagner.
So nobody said that except me. I had to say it.
Oh my God.
I said chicken jockey.
Yeah.
But dude, that movie was so shit. But at the same time,
it was like entertaining as hell.
It was entertaining as hell. But like, there was no plot.
No, it just kind of clunky and like and the kid was like, I'm like, they got this kid to be the main kid. I'm like, all right, whatever.
Jack Black is Steve though, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they just like they didn't even give him a script. They were just like, hey, just go be Jack Black, but like here's a general outline of like just say Minecraft related shit.
I love Jack Black.
He's great. I love how much he commits to stuff.
Oh yeah, I mean, have you seen the video of the kid from Love on the Spectrum?
I've watched
and he said that he'd want to meet Jack Black, and Jack Black and him ended up meeting.
Fucking delivers, dude.
And he was like, I was so excited to meet you. I was so excited to meet you. You're so awesome in my face. And that's not me being like fantastic. That's actually how he was.
Right.
He was just crazy over the top. And Jack Black was like giving him hugs and stuff. And
he's like such a fun guy. What a soul he. Do you know any Tenacious D songs? I listened to 2 of them today at work, and I need to make some drum covers to a few of those because those are. He's just an all around talented dude. Voice acting, regular acting, just a comedy in general, but like also a musician.
I mean, Goosebumps, man. That's where Jack Black blew up. Was Goosebumps.
I'm sure it was before that. Like Nacho Libre was like 2006.
Oh, he was. I forgot he was. Oh my god.
Yeah, and so he's been in all kinds of stuff. I think he's been like around since like at least the 90s. Yeah, I think that might have been whenever you were like, "Oh, Jack Black's a guy," because I always get that confused. When I was a kid, I would watch High School Musical 3 at daycare a lot, and I was like, "Why would they start with a third one?" And then my mom was like, "No, honey, that's just because you've only seen the third one. They would never do that. It's just your perspective." And I was like, "Oh, well, first 2 suck. I like the third one. To go off a little High School Musical tangent. That's a fantastic soundtrack.
Yeah,
God." I jammed it when I worked at Walmart.
Oh,
I got me through a shift once. How long do you think the podcast has gone so far?
Hour and a half.
That's exactly right. Yeah. Did you just look at the time, or is that all just?
Yeah, there's a computer right there that says 7:14 on it. I'm like, I know how long this has been going.
Well, I would like to have you back on the show.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd have to come back down from school over a break or something.
Yeah, we can figure it out. Yeah,
totally.
Yeah, there's plenty of time. I just want to keep it like digestible around like this amount of time, so like hour 40 at the maximum. But like, this blew by, man.
Oh, and
I wrote down some stuff just to get us started, but we hit all those topics immediately. Yeah. Film class, the lamp I talked about, and your love for dogs. We talked about all kinds of general high school shit. I guess the past whatever I've been up to past 2 years. Graduation. How long was graduation for you? Just boring as hell, and you're like, oh,
it was
There's
boring.
my name. Very rehearsed.
And then I pointed out to people like this.
Yeah.
I think my best moment of senior year is when I won prom king.
Oh fuck, that's crazy.
Yeah, I was prom king, and my girlfriend was prom queen. I looked like fucking Donald Trump out there pointing at people. And there's a picture of it. I'll have to find it real quick.
Send that so I can put it in the Instagram thing.
Yeah,
which is going to be. I think this. When does that episode come out? Let's see. I have a whole schedule. My Mammals comes out. Let's see. Today is Wednesday, June 25th. Tomorrow's part 2 of my dad's podcast. So this will be out July 10th.
July 10th.
This is the last episode before I turn 20.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Mm-hmm. Right here, this picture right here.
Dude, no kidding. Yeah.
I was pointing out to people and crap.
That's awesome.
So
I loved prom both years. I didn't think I'd be a prom guy. I also just went with a group both times. I was just fucking running around. And then you were a sophomore, so you probably weren't there, but like my band played at post prom my senior year, which was like apex high school experience. So fun.
I say junior prom, the venue at junior prom was so awesome. And honestly, and hopefully my girlfriend's not listening to this, but I took her to prom both times, junior and senior. But I hung out with like a group of kids my junior prom. I think junior prom was more fun.
I think I had a much more because we were at the Cathedral in Indianapolis or something like that my junior year. They had that shit rented out, and then I think it's because it's like your first time experiencing everything. Like the sequel, whenever you're a senior, it's hard to you gotta have a pretty grand sequel to beat it. And also my junior year, Reese and Ryan Pilot.
Right.
They fought Daniel Urban with these like big ass boxing gloves.
Oh my god, I remember that.
And then Urban fucking raptured his shoulder, and I filmed it. I have the original film thing on my original video on my phone. So yeah, I agree. Junior prom was much more fun. Just
senior
because.
prom, like the venue was, it was a farm. It was like this venue on a farm, and it was like this barn, but it was way too small.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we could be outside, but the actual it was hot.
Yeah, but how are they gonna do like the breathalyzer test if you guys could be outside too? Was there? Do you do breathalyzer tests at the farm?
Yeah, we did. We did the breathalyzer test, and there were.
That's so funny.
But I mean, we went to Urban Air for post prom.
Oh, that's got to be wicked.
It was wicked, and then I tried to go like rock climbing or whatever, and this douchebag ass worker was like, "Sorry, you're too big."
Damn.
And I'd gone to different Urban Airs and rock climbing. He said, "Sorry."
Was this the one in Ellettsville? I'm assuming.
Yeah, Ellettsville. But
I haven't been there in years.
It was fun as fuck, but I had to leave early because my girlfriend fell asleep on a trampoline. I just went over to find her, and she was just over there.
Just clocked out.
She was just clocked out on her stomach on a trampoline. I thought she was dead, but she was just asleep. Senior prom was fun. Junior prom was, in my opinion, more fun.
Yeah, I think just because you're around older people, too. It just.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, damn. Well, Hank, thank you very much for doing this.
Oh,
this
yeah,
shit
no problem,
flew the hell right by.
Oh, yeah.
Traffic was a bitch, but we made it happen.
Yeah.
It's all good. Yeah.
Traffic sucks.
Well, everybody, this is the portion of the show where I do plugs. Basically, all I have right now is I'm hosting a stand-up show in September at Greek's Pizzeria. It's September 26th on a Friday. I'm still working out details, but that's the date for it. And then another cool news. I don't know if anyone can really come to this because it's in Kentucky, but I got booked for a 21 Pilots tribute show from this guy in Louisville. Shout out Ryan. I forget his last name. I've not met him yet, but we've been conversing over the phone and everything. And basically, they've been my favorite band since I was 12. So as long as I've been into Saw movies, right? And so I get to beat Josh Dunn for a night, and it's like that's like a Make-A-Wish thing. If I get to choose, it's a dream come true. I was just
listening to Ride on my way here.
Oh yeah, it's lovely. But that's going to be October 18th. It's on a Saturday, but it's in Louisville. It's at this bowling alley basement, right? But I need to get into the habit of just like talking about the shit I have coming up at the end of the show. So. But anyway, thank you. We're just about hour 40 capping it off, and then I'll for sure have you back. We have plenty to talk about. And like I want to reiterate, it's very cool that you've matured this much since
right. I it's kind of weird because I can self-reflect on myself from 2 years ago. I'm like, I've gone through a lot.
Yeah, I can. It almost like because I thought for a second I was like, oh, is he like putting a front on? I'm like, oh, you're just you're better. You just got your brain's growing.
Yeah,
it's good stuff, dude.
Yeah, good stuff.
All right, well, we'll see you guys next week. I'll be 20 next time. Well, no. I might not be 20. I'll be 20 when you hear this, but I might not be 20 in the recording. We'll see, because it is like it's 3 weeks away or whatever. Anyway, peace out, guys. We'll see you later.